お願いします。
お願いします。
お願いします。お願いします。お願いします。So we finished our last class with the kind of interesting entrance where he's striking, we're standing in Yakuhami, he's striking from the rear foot, going out to this side. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but I'm standing in Aihami, he's striking from the rear foot, and I'm going to go to the front. Okay, so we're in Aihami now, okay, and he's striking from the rear foot. And I'm doing the same movement. Okay, he's in Yakuhami, and he's striking from the rear. I'm doing this. If we're in Aihami, and he's striking from the rear, I'm doing this. It's the same thing. So quite often we can't really tell. The main thing is to get off the line of attack. And you get off the line of attack by moving the front foot or the rear foot, but the idea is just don't stand there. So in this case, when the attack is coming towards me, I'm going to go exactly the same way. Turn and I can use the same throw. So we're in here, Yakuhami, I'm stepping to the front, turning, and here, slide step to the front. Okay. Slide step to the front. Turn. Right. So let's see. We're in Aihami. He's striking rear. We're entering this one. Okay. Now we're in Aihami. He's striking here. Out. So we're in Aihami. He's striking. Now I'm stepping. I'm going to take one step. And I'm going to step this way. I'm stepping in front of him. And as I step in front of him, I'm going to do asani with my rear hand. As I do asani with my rear hand, my front hand can get a hold of his hand. Once I've got a hold of his rear hand, I can lift up. Actually, let's do this one. Step in and move left. So we're in Aihami. Okay, and he's striking from the rear hand. Step. 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 Lift up. Then Kokyu Nage. So this side here. Okay. This is probably one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult pairing in Aikido, I think. Everything has to be in place. It's very important that it's not just a parry, but it's also position. Which means that when he's coming in here, I need to disrupt his balance. Not enough just to block him here, but he's still standing in his own original position. I need to affect him by cutting down, but not cutting down too much so his arm comes in towards him. Okay. Now I need to have a strong structure here with the first arm, and I need to be out before his arm gets past his shoulder. If his arm is past his shoulder, there's too much speed in that arm, and that means you're going to have to be stronger than him to parry it. So you really have to be very, it's a real omote feeling. You have to cut through and be very sure of what you're doing. Even if you're sure of what you're doing, if your form isn't there, then your arm will be plowed through. So from here, it's really go! Then step in, and go. In Aikido, you have, or not in Aikido, in Budo, you have three traditional forms of timing in connection with the attack, how you respond to an attack, or how you move to an attack. What is called go no sen. Go means after. So go no sen is when the attack comes in. For instance, the Yokomen is a very good example. Attacking, then I'm moving. Right? I'm moving away from the attack. I'm moving in response to the attack. It's supposed to come in and hit me here, and I move away from it. The other one is sen no sen. Sen means before the attack. And that's what we're doing now. In this case, he's going to attack me. But before the attack actually starts, I step in and parry. Okay, the attack is on its way, but the attack starts from here to here. So sen no sen is before the attack. Then you have sen no sen, which is basically before he even gets into an attack, I override and call out his body in some way so that I get a response. Sen no sen. Before the attack. Those are three traditional terms and concepts of timing. And O-sensei is quoted as saying, when he was asked this by a journalist, he said, Aikido is way above that. He sounded like he got sort of angry. Because Aikido's world, the universe, is so much more advanced in his way of thinking. And it was for him. But for us to understand how he got to where he was, it's important for us to understand these three traditional forms of timing. So that it's sort of the basic steps of how you work with attacks. So we're going to go into what would often be called go no sen, just not by O-sensei, which means that when Oda attacks with Yokomen, I'm getting out of the way and moving to the inside. Okay? So this is, the awase is still happening. When he lifts his hands up, I lift mine up. When he attacks, then I have my hands in position. But what I'm doing is I'm stepping to the front and adjusting into hanmi and hang. And my hanmi comes in here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut down. And then I can go into my hijikime. Kokyu Nage to the other side, please. So, stepping to the inside. Cut down and enter. So in general, he's attacking my outside. That's sort of the deal that we have. But the deal is based on practical matters. If he attacks to the front, he attacks this side, then I can defend myself much easier. I have access to his front center line. But if he attacks the side, it's harder for me to defend with my lead hand. So in that sense, he's forcing me to move or do something. So in general, you attack the outside of your part. So in general, you start in Aihami, he steps one step forward, I step to the inside, and lead into same entrance, step in. Here, in terms of person kicking, there are different ways that a person will kick in general, different ways that they're going to place their hands. Depends on their fighting style or lack thereof. It's much easier just comes in and tries to kick you like football or something. But in this case, on here, I was training, he's got his hands in a defensive position here. If they're too high, it's sort of the same as what we were doing before. If they're in that position, then I would go into that. So I'm reacting to what he's doing. But in general, if I'm moving with him, I'm there before his hands actually move into more of a position. So here, I'm already If you're doing it slower and the hands are in the way, yeah, the hands are in the way, use that one. Yeah. If his kamae is a little bit lower, and you can come in on top, you come in on top. Both will work depending on where he's set with his hands. So, based on the outside entry, he comes in here. Nothing, I'm not adding anything, no fancy techniques, just basic Aikido, basic Taisebaki. He's just attacking with something else. And it's basically a straight line attack. And it's basically the same you'll be doing against ski or showman. There's nothing different to it. The idea is that you have to just read what's coming towards you and move accordingly. So in that sense, it's coming in. And the applied version, which I'm not going to, I'll just demonstrate, I'm not going to do it. That's when the Kokyu Nage comes in. As the leg is going forward, the arm is coming in. But that would be nasty. So, take him off balance and in, so it gives him a chance to do the thing with this. So the same setup, the same entrance, apply the green. So it's enemy entrance, coming in to his rear, getting a grip here. Now the concept is you're bringing him in towards you, you're pulling him towards your center. I'm in Hanmi here, same with Hanmi as he's in. As I bring him in, I'm going to leave this leg and I'm going to step back with the front leg so he falls in front of him. That's the best place for me to have it. So, in this case, entering, pulling in, and of course you don't want to stand where you're pulling him into, but it's the best way to pull him towards yourself and bring that front foot back. And it's meant to be done in one movement, but Ukemi is hard for that, so do it in two. So that's based on getting to the outside. And we're not going into areas where we're trying to catch the leg or do anything to the leg itself. You might be able to do that, but it's basically just working on Taisebaki. Now, from the same setup, let's say we're starting here, I want to go into the inside instead. So he kicks. So if we're staying in our I-Hanmi position, I'm going to take one step to the front. Okay. So from here, straight line pass right into a center with an angle. Other side. I'm going to take one step, basically. Other side. Okay. He may have his hands up on the same side. Okay. If I run into his hands here, that's fine. So I'm out of the way here. I have access to the center line. So even if he's in a kind of kamae, I'm still and when we're going to the inside, it's important that we get off the line at an angle. When we're going to the outside, the ones that we've done have been based on standing parallel with the line of attack. So it's different. I see some people are standing a little bit too parallel when they go to the inside, and that leaves you some of your body left on the line of attack, which means something is going to get kicked. So it's really a question of when you're moving into the inside, you really have to let that shoulder lead and whip the rear side of your body around so you create one line, so everything is off the line of attack. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again going to the front. But now let's see, grab something, what's available, okay? So take the same side, now I'll do the other side, see? So in this case, I'm going into this position. Now, what's there? At the moment, I've got a hand right here. Why not take that and do kotegaeshi on it. Okay? So it's basically the concept, get out of the way, grab something and throw it. But you can get techniques out of it depending on the position of his body and what he has, where his hands are. So in this case, I'm coming in here, I only have my hands in front of me, and from there, it'll help. I could do the one we did before, but I can also from here, get out, and do kotegaeshi. Okay, one more time. Right? There for you. I just saw two repeated. That's really nice. Coming in here, who's in this hand? So, if you get the other hand, you Ikkyo. Take some of that, please. Going around here. The other hand was right there. So, use your Shihonai. So, the idea is keep your hands in a good position and utilize what is there for you. Okay? So in this case, when I was coming around here, okay, this hand is here, I can do kotegaeshi. Okay? I come around and do kotegaeshi. If my hand is here, why not the other hand and ikkyo? Whatever you want. If my hand comes around here and it's below, then shihonage is evident. So this is basically just Takemuso Aikido, not just, but it's Takemuso Aikido. Have your hands in a certain position and see what comes from where you're placed. If you can't get a hold of anything, then you've got that one, or hold of something and take them down. Circular, hold them in front of your center. So, try working with that and see what happens when you're there. And it's basically using Aikido principles, doing Aikido techniques, but see what happens.